Well, hello there. Hope you guys are doing well today. Let me see if I'm live. Sometimes I can't tell. And so I like to check on the computer to make sure that things are working like they should. Awesome. Okay, I see me. I hope you guys are doing well. As I say all the time, I love homeschool moms. Having gone through the journey, I understand some aspects of it and many aspects of it. I really want to be available to help, to assist, to encourage, to support. Actually, that's what Simply Homeschool is about. I actually called it that because I want to present information in a way that keeps it simple. I honestly think there's so much information out there right now that it actually can be confusing and overwhelming. And so part of what we are doing is attempting to take very complex processes and thoughts and make them simple and in a way that can be easily grasped and executed. And so tonight we're going to talk about, or if you're seeing it in the day or whatever you're watching, we're going to be talking about homeschool, yes. Where do I begin? And this session is a quick overview of planning. So if you're just overwhelmed and stuck, this session might help you by giving you some simple steps that you can take to get started. So we asked the question, where do I begin? And so I think we're going to use the who, what, where, why, how philosophy. So let's start, first of all, with the who. And let me check and make sure that I'm not missing any comments, because that's the other thing that sometimes doesn't show up for some reason. So, who? Well, it's you. And I think that's what makes it so scary, right? But it's not just you alone. It's you and God. And He is right there to help fill in the areas where you feel inadequate, where you feel unsure. That's the great thing about our God. He never asks us to do something and not give us the resources to get it done. And so I just want you to breathe in and breathe out and just rest just for a moment and remember, you are not doing this by yourself. That God is helping you. And He's put in your environment all the resources that you need. So, who is it? It's you. It's God. And it's your family. It can be your husband, or it can be the children's father, or it can be grandma, or it can be auntie. There can be a number of people that can come alongside of you, and you kind of form a team so you don't have to do this by yourself. Start thinking about the people in your family, the people that are friends that you know that might be able to help you with this thing called homeschool. Help you by helping to teach a math class, help you by helping you stay organized, helping you by coming over on Fridays and putting all the grades and things that the kids are doing in, helping you by coming over to the house and helping with some other things like cleaning up, grocery shopping. There's lots of ways for others to help you so that you can get through, especially if you're a mom who works either at home or out of the home. And we'll talk about that more later. Okay, so that's the who. So the next thing is the what. It's not what you might think. It's not bringing traditional school home and doing it just like they did it in the classroom. That's not necessary. It actually begins with being free to kind of rethink what are the things that you want your child to learn. What are the things that are important to you? What are the things that you have found out in the last several months that there are gaps in? Like, do you have any surprises? Things that you're going, oh, I thought you knew. Oh, you don't know how to? Yeah, those kind of things. It gives you the freedom to actually go ahead and focus in on those gaps that you have observed while they've been home with you. It gives you the freedom to decide, okay, we're going to have a formal classroom, which is great. We're going to, turn this basement spot into our classroom, or we're going to turn a bedroom into a classroom, or we're going to do our school at the dining room table. And that's where we actually did a lot of our school. Sitting at the dining room table, and we just bought some bookcases and those kind of things and put them in different parts of the house. And when school was over, all the school stuff went into the bookcases, went into the enclosed kinds of structures that we had created because we were a little messy as a family, and I needed those additional places where we could close it off in case it wasn't like in the order that it needed to be in. And so that really worked for us. Sometimes you'll end up doing school, in the living room or the family room, and the kids are on the floor and you're reading or you're doing a project, and you're outside in the backyard. So school is a part of life. Homeschool is a part of life. It takes place in lots of different ways. You might be doing it over there, but it's really about that takes place. And I had to learn that and not be stupid, especially with my son who, he was bouncing all over the place. And so I had to learn how to be okay with him doing school, standing up or jumping around, and I'm thinking he's not listening. And then when it's time to actually find out, what he's hearing, I'm listening going, he got it. He really did hear what I said. And so I learned that even though he doesn't learn like I learn, I actually have to work with where he is. Hey there, Jill. Good to see you. So listen, that's the who. We talked about the what. Okay, that's what we're talking about now. So when I mention the things that I'm going to mention, this is what I want you to do. If you are a brand new homeschooler, there is just too much information out there for you to go through all of that and figure out what you need to do. You need to actually pick one or two mentors and then talk to them about what you think you need, and then listen to what they tell you. And just go ahead and get that stuff, because listen, if you haven't purchased curriculum yet, there's going to be a possibility that there is going to be a back order on curriculum, because there may be a lot more people homeschooling now than have been in the past. So this is July. You need to go ahead and decide what curriculum you're going to use. Now I have several kind of ideas, links for you, that if you just want to go with the things that I'm suggesting, take a peek at them. Maybe it's 7 or 8 links. You could actually look through those links and be able to pick and order your curriculum. You could have your curriculum ordered by tomorrow. Wouldn't that be great? And not wait and then get to the end of July, the first part of August, and you decide you want to use this, that, or the other, and you can't find it. You don't want that to happen. But before I go on, let me just let you know, for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Anita Gibson. I am a coach, speaker, educational strategist, and the author of the book Starfinder. And we're talking about the who, what, when, where, how, why, how. Did I get it mixed up? I think I did. You know what I mean. Of homeschool planning. Okay, so as I was saying, I was talking about the what. And let's see, I believe that Natalie is going to put something up for us that will share with you some of the links that are available. Some of the links that will help you to be able to just make a quick choice. Like for choices for curriculum, I think I chose a Becca based textbook. It also has a DVD component with it that students can actually sit, listen to a DVD, watch a DVD of a teacher in a classroom, and then you guys sit down and and you can get the work done. They also offer assistance and help if you need you have questions and those kinds of things. It can be a great resource for students that are strong academically, but you might want an online source, and there's something called Power Homeschool, which is a great program for if you're looking for an online option. It goes from kindergarten through 12th grade. It also is very engaging and interactive. It grades the work for you and will not allow a student to go further until they have mastered the concepts that are before. So that could be a good option. As well as a program called Easy Peasy. And that is also for kindergarten through 12th. It's a free program. It has all of the curriculum and the things that you need. And it's basically, someone's just, it's their mission to help homeschool families. And so they have put that out. So there's 3 choices right there. That one is more mom involved, but it has everything there that you need for each child if you're teaching multiple children. So you have various options. That one's free. Power Homeschool is maybe like $50 a month, I believe, per child. And then a Becca is a much more expensive program. So that kind of gives you an idea of what you might need. IXL is also another program that is on the link. And I recommend that if you know that you're just going to be homeschooling for this 1 year, because it's Common Core compatible. And so Common Core is what the government uses in the school system to say what a child should know in certain grades. And so if you need to, put them back in a year, then you're going to want to know what Common Core, what the standards are, and you want to make sure you use a curriculum that is also connected with Common Core. And so IXL is, and it's also an online program, and I believe it's basically math and English. I think it does have some science and history, but check that out. That could be very helpful to you as well. And then there's a book called Everything a 4th Grader Should Know. Actually, 5th graders should know, 6th graders should know. It goes all the way from, I believe it's kindergarten all the way to 11th or 12th grade. If you're kind of like, I don't know, what are they supposed to know? Then you could use a book like that would help you stay on track. And that's all you need to know about curriculum. How about that? So another thing you can do to help keep up with your classes is there's something called ThinkWave. And it's a free online program that enables you to put grades in. So that if you need a report card at some point or another, then you're able to use this free program and it'll download a report card report for you. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is something called Google Classrooms, which is also free. And if you have a Gmail account, you have Google Classroom. And you can actually have one classroom for each of your students, and you can put in that their assignments for the day, for the week. You can put in there their chores that they're supposed to get done. and they can upload things to you, and you can check them off. It's a way to keep track of things. You can do any of those things, and if you just pick those few things, you have what you need. Okay, so that was the what. Now we're at the why. Now the why is the most important, I think, thing of all, because you have to know why you're homeschooling. Because if you don't know why, there will come a day when you're going to feel like giving up. And if you are not clear about your why, you're going to quit. So you have to know it's because, it's the coronavirus, and I want to make sure my children are safe. And so for this year, I'm not sure about the classroom. I'm committing myself that I'm going to go ahead and homeschool them for this year. Or I really want to spend more time with my children. I want to be able to nurture them more, or I want to be able to connect with them more. I want to have more to do with their learning. I want them to learn the things that I want them to learn. I'll write it down like a vision or mission statement, exactly why you're homeschooling. So when those hard days come, you can keep going. So that's the why. If it's just this year, remember what I said, it should be Common Core compatible so that when they go back in, they haven't missed a beat. Now, let's see. Make sure I'm not missing any questions. All right, so we got through the why. Now let's go to the where. Now most of you are going to be homeschooling at home, right? But I actually know some people that are homeschooling with friends, and they have quarantined together so that they made a commitment that their kids will be the only other kids that come in contact with each other, and they're doing small group learning, whether they are hiring tutors or some of the moms are taking turns in teaching different things. There you could have grandparents that are a part of your plan who would be willing to have the kids come over to their house, or they come over to your house just for certain portions of things, maybe things they're good at. Could be for the PE part, where they take them outside and run them around. Or, it could be they're really good in math, and so they are there at the house and helping, or you're dropping the students off. You just don't have to do this by yourself. I made a commitment that I was never teaching chemistry again. I didn't want to teach biology. And so I was able to find moms who were nurses who would be willing to teach those type of classes. You have resources around you. You just have to look for them. So that's the where. And then the how. You have to create a schedule. You need to, when kids know you know where you're going, they follow more readily. When they sense you're not sure of what's happening next, their behavior changes. And I know that from personal experience. I've noticed when I'm teaching a class and I know exactly what I'm doing, I can go boom from this step to boom to that step. There's no room, there's no wiggle room for, the behavior to get out of hand. But when I don't know what I'm doing, or I'm looking for that, where is that paper that I had, or where are the supplies, and we're putting supplies together as we're doing the project, it doesn't work well. And so you definitely want to have a plan. Some people are very organized and they're going to want to have a planner and those type of things. Like my dear friend Natalie Burton, she's very organized. She kind of knows what she wants the kids to do. She's got it all written out. She has a plan. She probably has a plan for the whole year, if I know Natalie. Right, Natalie? But for me, I'm a butterfly. So the most you're going to get from me is probably a list. I love lists. And I used to just write them on little pieces of paper all over the place, and then I couldn't find them. And so what I began to do was to at least have one place that I kept all of my to-dos and all the things that I wanted to get accomplished. And in that notebook, I kept what the school year was supposed to look like and what were the subjects that I wanted to get accomplished. And it worked out pretty well for me. So then when I needed to say, okay, how am I doing on my list? I just go back and I look and I check off things as I get them done. that was as organized as I would get. Once I knew what my curriculum was, and I kind of had an idea of how I wanted the lessons to go, I kind of, was a little more free. Everybody's different. None of it's wrong. You just got to work with what works for you. And you have to be honest with yourself, because otherwise you're just going to be frustrated trying to use and be something that somebody else is. So, what time are you going to start? Now, if you decide to go with the school's program, you will have to get up and get moving at the time that they say. If you homeschool, you can decide what time that is for starting. It might be 10 o'clock. And you might decide, especially if you're a working mom, you might decide, I'm going to get up at 6 or 7. I'm going to actually work for 2 or 3 hours, and then we'll check in with the kids, and we'll actually get started with our school. Let me just check and make sure I haven't missed any questions. And so if you make that decision that that's how we're going to do it, you make a decision that that's how you're going to do it, then it kind of gives you you just feel like you're a little more in control. So you are able to say, okay, I'm going to work 6 to 10, then from 10 to 12, we're going to get school stuff done, any type of stuff that needs intense, focus, hands-on mom kind of stuff we're going to do in this 2-hour time frame. And then the next hour we'll do some lunch, and I'll go back to work, and then I'll give them independent kind of things to do. And then they can even have a time when it's fun, creative, hands-on type of things that they're doing, but that are not electronic, that will actually help you to get through that day. Oh, Natalie said, not anymore. She's talking about planning. I did the first year, and then I overwhelmed myself. So I have nothing written anywhere right now. Okay. Yeah, that's what happened for me. It just was easier just to kind of have a skeleton of a list of the things that I wanted to get accomplished. And then in time, I was able to kind of check my list, and that was enough for me. So let's see, where was I? I was talking about how, right? So, to-do list, notebooks. Are you going to use multiple notebooks like the 5 subject notebook? Or are you going to use just one subject notebook for each subject? Now, the problem we ran into with the one was the kids kept losing them. And then we had to start all over again. So the 5 worked better, but if you lose the 5, you just lost 5 subjects. However, because it's a bigger book, it was a little easier to keep track of. And we bought them in different colors so they could keep track of them. And so there's just little small things you want to think about. How are we going to organize this? How are we going to be able to keep up with the things that we're doing? If they're online, what are the safety measures that you have on so that they're working on their work and not, watching videos or anything else? So you want to make sure you have those parental controls if you're doing online kinds of work. So there's lots of ways to organize your homeschool, to schedule it out. It just really depends on you and what you need. You have to, if you're working from home, you have to shift and not use the word interruption, but be prepared for that child, especially if it's just you and them, to at times be able to need to come to you to ask a question. So you put a system in place for how that happens. If you're in a lot of meetings, then you guys have some type of signal that will let you know that they really need to talk with you. And then you talk to your boss and you let them know what's going on. And that there will be times when you have to step away because you have this child at home. And so you put things in place ahead of time, and then people know what to expect. Both your child, your boss, your entire family. So let's see. So one other thing. If you also are working at home, you need a foundation kind of process. So if I'm working, and usually we're working together at a certain time, and 10 to 12, something came up, an emergency, and there's a fire on, something's on fire, and I just have to do this with the boss. then you have books in place, maybe from the educational store, that they can automatically get on and work on in the event that mom is not available. You can also do that with an online kind of program like Khan Academy, Kahn, is a great option for help with especially the math. So you have those things in place so that if something comes up, the child can still keep moving at some level with their learning. So you make sure you give them resources that they don't have to have you in order to get done. Okay? So let's see. I think that's all. Oh, so we said I got to the how. And then what incentives will you give for good behavior? How will you encourage them to do the things that they need to do? How will you keep yourself replenished? What groups will you be a part of? Who's going to be your mentor? Who's going to give you a break? And then the last thing I would say to you is pray and ask the Lord to give you wisdom for how to navigate this new season called homeschool. All right, well, I think that I've shared everything. If you want to know more, more principles and those kind of things, check out my books. Of learning for your child to help them find their purpose, to help them find their strengths, and it even has strategies in there if you have a child that is struggling academically. All right, guys, I love you, and let me check in one more time and make sure I did not miss any messages or any questions. All right, I am on my way outside to get my run on. I gotta try to get 8,000 steps in, and I haven't done well today, so a lot of work to do. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and thanks for checking in. Love you.